need to carry a gun? That's a very serious question. I'm going to use it to start off this video, what I'm going to call the Concealed Carry Protocol by Nutnfancy. Hi guys, this is Nutnfancy, another serious and foundational video to what I do in the Nutnfancy project here in YouTube, reviewing guns, knives, other tactical stuff for my law enforcement, police, and responsible, good civilian sheepdog brothers and sisters. Do you need a gun? Serious question. Hopefully you've answered that before you've pursued your concealed carry license, the gun you've chosen, and all of that stuff, which a lot of it I addressed in my previous video, Obligation of Carry. Been out since last year, 2009. It's a serious question. Have you answered it for yourself? Couple caveats. First off, I can't answer it for you. I don't know who you are, how your mind works, what your background is, and what you're able to do. You're going to have to answer it yourself, and I'm going to talk about some attendant responsibilities that I have found in my 18 years as a civilian concealed carry permit holder, carrying all kinds of situations and venues and states, adhering to the laws of those states. Okay, that's kind of where I'm coming from to you. Couple other caveats is that it's not legal advice. Okay, this video shouldn't be construed to be that at all. It's impossible. There's too many, local regulations, state regulations, which dictate the carriage of lethal force. It's up to you to adhere to those or not adhere to those. It's your choice. You're an individual. You have your freedom of choice. Okay? What it is life advice. Again, for me, an experienced concealed carry permit holder. And there's lots of good voices on this subject. I hope I can be counted among them. It'd be a privilege if that were to happen. Lots of great voices of people who have great wisdom and experience in the subject. They're out there. But now this will be part of my project because it kind of needs to be its own video. I've addressed a lot of these issues already in other videos, in tabletop reviews I've talked to them. WROL, Don't Hasten the Day video, the seriousness at which the lethal force option should be looked upon, obligation of carry, the sheepdog concept, and close to engage. Very serious foundational videos to TMP. Do you need a gun? Well, maybe we'll get to that at the end, the final decision for that. At least some final considerations before you answer the question. And I think a lot of people start carrying without ever really asking themselves that question and understanding the responsibility that goes with it. Okay, what I'm going to attempt to do here is maybe lay down some lessons learned and rules of the road as a concealed carry permit holder. That's my job. I've been doing it a long time, and I've learned a few things along the way. Maybe my words may dissuade some from weapon carriage. Maybe they didn't think it through all the way and they go, you know what? I don't know if I'm ready for that. I don't know if I'm ready to use it. I don't know if I'm ready for the ramifications of using it. I don't know if I'm ready for the blood of using it. Okay, we'll talk about that. They're all valid considerations. First off, let's just assume that you have decided to carry a gun. Okay, and you're a concealed carry permit holder. How do you approach no carry zones? That's the first topic of the day, and it's a hot potato. Okay, again, I'm not going to give you advice on how to do it. There's plenty of places that say, hey, you know what? Don't come in here armed. Okay, leave your gun in the car. Leave it at the house. Do not do it. It might be private. It might be public places. I don't know. I'm not going to give advice on that. That's up to you. I will harken back to my previous videos, close to engage. Okay? And there may be some situations that have happened in the past where had a gun been extracted on what I like to call a free fire zone. Okay? There's no such thing as a safe zone. It's impossible to create a safe zone. The liberal mindset says we can legislate safety. We can pass all kinds of laws and we will make people safe in those zones we create. We'll just get rid of all weapons. We'll use technology. We'll use, harsh punishments. It does not work. It will never work. The evil mind will always find a way to circumvent that, not just with a gun, with all types of devices, to employ against good people who are unsuspecting to wreak havoc and murder them. The no-carry zone that DoD creates on their military bases is a perfect example, and we just saw how effective that was at Fort Hood, right? Okay, so, and again, like I said in Close to Engage, what if a soldier would have had a gun on his person in that free fire zone? Okay, what would have happened? Probably would have received some administrative punishment from DoD, the Army. Hey, dude, you weren't supposed to have that gun on here. But you made the shot and you killed a mass murderer and you saved 20 people's, 20 lives that day. You weighed out on the scale. Okay, in every situation, every venue is different. Okay, and guys will say, well, whoa, man, you're saying that if it's illegal, you should carry your gun? No, I'm saying it's up to the individual to make the decision. What you're going to see in the United States of America is concealed carry, the privilege of concealed carry being attacked. And I predict that we'll have all types of laws that will do everything in their power to get rid of it. Okay, so what if you live in a real bad area and you've been a concealed carry permit holder forever with a flawless record, and now you can no longer carry your gun according to the law? These are some hard questions you may be faced with in the future. And again, I'll say what I've always said: when everything's illegal, then nothing's illegal. Okay, and they say you can't do this, you can't have that, and yet all the thugs in the street have it. They'll always be armed. Again, you cannot legislate safety. All you can do is strip law-abiding citizens of their right to self-defense. And it's up to the individual, I say, to decide where they're going to carry. Now, the flip side of that is be prepared for the repercussions. Okay, so if you decide to carry in a non-carry zone for whatever it is, state, public, private, and you get caught, okay, just carrying, then you've broken the law. There's repercussions that go along with that, right? So be prepared. Be knowledgeable, be wise, and you've made a decision, hopefully a level-headed decision. Hey, I know this is what happens, and I'm making a choice. I will say this: if I'm in a free fire zone and I don't have my weapon, I would love to have a sheepdog next to me that does have a weapon. But wait, Nutnfancy, it's illegal. Okay? If a mass murder starts opening up, I still hope that there's some way, other than fist, other than running and hiding and cowering under a desk, or charging the individual and dying in the process, that we can answer that lethal force threat. Ideally, we wouldn't have free fire zones. Okay, we wouldn't have Virginia techs that say you cannot be a concealed carry permit holder on their property. It's stupid. It doesn't work. How many mass shootings do we have to have before people realize it doesn't work? Does Virginia Tech, or have they changed their policy? Nope, they haven't. No carry zones, it's your decision. How about the carry attitude? This is very important. And I'm going to be pressed for time. There's so many things to talk about. I want this to be a single parter if I can. If you have chosen to carry a gun, you are no longer that dude you were before you carried that gun. Okay? You are going to do everything in your power to defuse situations and to get out of trouble. You should be very aware of your surroundings. Not paranoid. I mean, you're not looking around going, oh, what's that dude doing? What's that doing? Is he going to draw a gun? No, that's idiotic. Just be aware what's going on and do everything in your power to extricate yourself from problems. Why? Because you're carrying a gun. And what I'm talking about is rule of law situations like we live in now, and I pray it will continue. Rule of law rocks. We want to support, encourage, and defend rule of law. Like I said in my first WROL video. Defuse a situation. You will be held accountable in your ability and your efforts to do so. Again, this isn't legal advice, this is life advice. Okay, if you're held up to a court and they go, well, you were looking for trouble, you faced off with that individual, you knew you were carrying a gun, you said things to him to escalate the conflict, he brought out a knife, you brought out a gun, but you were the initiator of the incident. Okay, that's not good. Okay, you could be criminally liable for your actions. Your whole demeanor changes. I don't want to say the word, wuss, But in a way, that's kind of how you are when you're carrying concealed. You're very low key. You do everything in your power to get away from situations. Your gun is your absolute last resort, like I've said in my other videos. Okay, you have no other options. You can't flee. You can't get out of the situation. Your life, and again, we're moving back from the mass shooting situation. We're talking about the one-on-one confrontation where your life is being threatened. And unreasonably, you can't talk your way out of it. You can't flee. You've gone all the way down your unlock codes. Man, is there any way I can get out of this situation? The answer is no. Then maybe, just maybe, you're cleared and hot and you can engage. Okay? But you'll be held accountable in a rule of law system for your decision process. The reasonable man concept will apply. What were your actions reasonable? Okay, you'll be judged by perhaps, I hope not, but perhaps a jury of your peers. Depends on who your prosecutor is. You know, what's his legal disposition? He may hate concealed carry. He may think that you pose the biggest threat in the world to society, and then by you carrying a gun, okay, you are threatening the world, and he's going to make an example out of you. Okay? There's a lot of things to think about. A lot of things. Proportionate force. Is there a way you could have diffused a situation without resorting to lethal force? Your last option. You'll be held accountable for that. You know, if it's a one guy versus one guy and you pull out a gun and you kill this dude, chances are there's probably going to be some problems. Why didn't you just fight back with fists or something non-lethal if, again, you couldn't extricate yourself from that situation? These are all things that you need to think about beforehand as a concealed carry permit holder. Okay, get out of there if you can. Get out of the situation. Flee. You know, so what? Your tail's between your legs. If you don't make the shot and you get out and you diffuse a situation from up here and you bring it down here, you know, there's no ego involved. You should congratulate yourself. You don't have legal problems. You don't have the psychological, you know, weight of having shot another human being and probably killed or maimed him for life. It's all good. So what? I looked like a wuss. Whatever. I still have my gun. I'm still alive. I'm still breathing. I go home to my family that night. Life is good. Life is good. You should be a skilled negotiator as a concealed carry permit holder. Negotiate your way out of it. Try to reason with the individual if you possibly can. Okay? Have I ever had to do this? Yes, I've had to do this. Okay? Spokane, Washington. I was carrying concealed Glock 19 in a fanny pack, and I was approached by two individuals who were obviously drunk as I approached my car in broad daylight. One went around the other side. The other one squared right off to me very aggressively, and they asked for money. Asked is kind of a soft word. They wanted money. Well, I was glad I was paying attention that day because I saw the situation developing. Because I saw them across the street, cross the street over to my vehicle, and I was facing the window of my vehicle, and I saw the reflection of the two individuals. While that happened, I unzipped my jacket. It was wintertime. Unzipped my fanny pack, and I put my hand on my Glock 19. Okay? I'm going to try to escalate. I'm going to try to de-conflict the situation. But I'm at my vehicle, you know, and against a brick wall, by the way, kind of cornered. They're going to get, you know, they're going to reach me sooner or later. And plus, I don't know what their intentions are at this point. They could be asking for a handout. Don't know. I can't read people's minds. But, you know, I'm going from maybe condition yellow to condition orange. Comes up, got a real bad vibe from these dudes. One's right in my face. The other one circles behind me, you know, at least on the other side of the car. And I'm like, this is not good. And they're like, you got money? I open my coat, Glock on my hand, or Glock, in my hand, resting in the fanny pack. And I was like, sorry, dudes, no money today. I don't got nothing. This is what his eyes did. He looked at me. He looked down. He goes, sir, have a nice day. And he left. Problem averted. No shots fired. Gun never came out. Okay? And the other guy had his hands in his pocket. You know, I suspect he had a knife or something. Problem averted. You know, they went their way, I went mine. It was a great day. Avoid altercations at all possible. Okay, and by the way, when I talk to those individuals, and I may not have represented it well, there are some more words said. I was very polite. I was very calm. You know, I had a very pleasant tone to myself. I wasn't aggressive. But I was firm. And I wanted them to know by the communication of my tone that you're probably picking the wrong dude here. Okay? Probably picking the wrong dude. And if I have to, you know, go into the red zone and get into that combat mindset, I can do so quickly. But I don't want to. Diffused. Avoid traffic altercations too. If you're carrying concealed, you should be real chilled how you drive. Doesn't mean, you know, can't honk at people or stuff. I don't know. But don't go out of your way to make altercations and to escalate them. Again, if something happened, that individual pulls you over, eyewitnesses said, yeah, but he was flipping this guy off. They said that. Then, you know, the blame level in the court might look like this instead of asymmetric where you want it to be, where you're blameless and the bad guy holds all the blame. And you will be looked at, again, as a reasonable man, having done the right thing in that situation, that anybody would have done that. Well, the guy came to his car, he was stuck in traffic, he couldn't drive away. You know, eyewitness says he was trying to get away from this individual, he got stuck. Next thing you know, the bad guy approaches his vehicle, brings out a Colt 1911, threatens to shoot the guy, and yeah, Mr. Good Guy pulled out a gun and killed him. You know, most situations, most places, people go, okay. And again, I'm doing a broad stroke on this, just as an example. You know, some people would say, okay, his life was threatened. He did what he had to do. He used his legally possessed firearm to defend his life. Okay. Also, so that's a broad stroke on the carry attitude, demure, if you will, aware of what's going on. You know, de-escalating conflict, looking at your response options too, just like I said in my video, whatever it is, I forget what it was, it'll be there in video. Oh yeah, the force continuum. There's so many videos, I got like 550 of them, I can't keep track. But maybe you don't have to answer with lethal force, maybe there's another one. And again, it might be a situation where I can't get out of it, I can't talk my way out of it, but maybe I can employ a non-lethal option, you know, pepper spray, hand-to-hand combat, you know, an ass police baton, you know, that requires training too. So the carry attitude, serious, give it some thought. Also carry deep. Okay, and some guys have questioned me, is like, well, should I carry openly as a concealed carry permit holder? I wouldn't say never to do that, and there are some advantages to doing it. However, there's some other big disadvantages as well. One is you scare sheeple when you do that. They see a gun, and even if it's legal in your state or in your locale, people will go, well, you know, I don't know about this dude, he's whacked. Why? Because the media portrays gun owners that way, and a lot of people, good people who don't know otherwise, will perceive you that way. That might be a consideration for you. Also, also by carrying your gun openly like that, people know you have a gun. If you're a bad guy coming in there and you see a dude with a gun, let's say you're really determined that day and you don't care if you die in the process, and you see Joe Blow over there holding a gun, who are you going to shoot first? Okay, but the dude's got a gun, he'll get to it quick enough. No, he won't. Not necessarily. Again, if he's not living in yellow, escalating to orange and red zones, knowing what's going on, aware of his surroundings, what's going on, chances are he may not get to that gun. Like the police officers that were murdered, you know, in that coffee shop in Washington State. They had guns strapped to their side. They were killed. Just because you have a gun doesn't mean you're going to defend your life. You know, the gun is just a tool. Your major weapon, right here, baby, your mind. Okay? Combat mindset, being aware of what's going on, being able to employ that device quickly and efficiently, proficiently. We'll talk about that, though. I say carry deep. I say it's best that people don't know you have a gun because surprise is your friend. Okay? Another made-up situation, completely arbitrary. My dad used to give this one to me all the time. He's like, you're in a bank robbery. Okay? My dad carried his gun all the time. He was always armed. Okay? And, you know, legally sometimes, other times not so legal, but he always had his gun. He's gone now. bless his, rest his soul. But in a bank robbery, the guys come in, they do a bank robbery. You're amongst the clientele, the customers that are on the floor by the bank robbers. They want to steal the money? Steal the money. Go ahead. FDIC's got it. Take the money and run. Oh, their back's up against the wall. They herd everybody into the safe, and then they decide, you know what? We're going to start shooting people so we can get out of here. You've seen it in the movies, and again, it's just an arbitrary example. But now they've transitioned from being robbers to murderers. Okay, and maybe that concealed carry permit holder decides it's time to engage. So he has that advantage. Why? Because he's carried concealed, carried deep. The bad guys, chances are, don't know it's on his person, and you have an option. There's a lot of other complications with that. Can he make the shot? How many bad guys are there? Where are they? When do I engage? How do I engage? But it's good to have options, right? And like I've always said, being armed gives you options. And I will add to that, carrying deep gives you options as well. There's other locales, and I've carried in them that said, oh, by the way, if someone sees your gun while you're carrying, then that's called brandishing. And that can be, a bad thing. People can call the police. Hey, this guy's got a gun. Again, sheeple don't know who you are. They don't know if you're a police officer, concealed carry guy, or a guy getting ready to cut loose in a McDonald's. They see a Glock 19 in your waistband, they freak out, So when you carry deep, and this is a lot of what I've discussed before in other videos, individualize your system, something that works for you, that people don't know you have the gun on you. You carry deep, and yet you always have it. It's comfortable. You have very high percentage of carry. I've talked about that, an obligation of carry. Otherwise, why do it? Right now, what am I wearing? Kel-Tec PF9, baby. Right here. Nobody knows I have it on. Extra magazine right there. Carry deep. Gives you options. It's comfortable. In rule of law, that's what I recommend. What is WROL without rule of law? Well, things might be different. Maybe you want to have a gun shown on your person. Heaven forbid you have to keep security in your neighborhood. In that situation, maybe having the gun in the open is best. You can access it quicker. Okay, a lot of the consideration which I've laid forth already, don't play, because you don't have police officers that can come to your neighborhood to back you up. You don't have the court system backing you up. It's all you, baby, Katrina style. And you're keeping the peace in your neighborhood. In that situation, I wouldn't carry concealed. I carry open. Tactical vest, drop down, side. More firepower, faster accessed. People see it, they see it. Maybe it dissuades the bad guys from jacking that neighborhood up, coming to do whatever they're going to do. How about law enforcement interaction? There's another big topic. Guys will ask me, Nutnfancy, how do I interact? With great respect and professionally. Okay? You are a legal concealed carry permit holder. Let's say you're pulled over. You're carrying concealed. Here's what I do. Let's say it's night. I turn my dome light on. Okay? I put my hands outside the window. So when the police officer approaches a car, what does he see? He sees a fully illuminated vehicle. He knows there's no bad guys in there with a sawed-off shotgun going to spring on him. And he sees a dude with his hands out the window. That does a lot to de-escalate his or her stress as they approach your vehicle. And if you do those two things, they will probably know that you are a very good citizen. Because bad people don't do those things. Okay, they keep their windows rolled up. Raining, don't care, I still do it. Snowing, don't care, still do it. Very respectful. Hello, officer. I am carrying concealed. I am a concealed carry permit holder. When it becomes appropriate, I don't just jump right out with it. And I'll say, if he wants to know, I'll tell him what I'm carrying, where it's at. Then they'll check. They'll ask probably see your permit, your driver's license. They'll see if there's any warrants, outstandings on you. You come back with a clean record, then no problem. He'll just address what he pulled you over for. Hey, you're going too fast. You ran a red light. Heaven forbid. Here you go. If I'm a police officer, you deal that way with me respectfully, and you do that, I'm going to think highly of you. Not every police officer digs concealed carry permit holders. There's some that do not. They do not like it. They feel threatened by it. What does Nutnfancy say? I say good police officers that really understand what the public safety is all about do not feel threatened by concealed carry permit holders. They welcome them. And, in a very bad situation, which there's been plenty of historical examples I've talked about in other videos, a concealed carry permit holder could actually save an officer's life. That's a whole big subject right there. Law enforcement interaction. Respectful, upfront, have your credentials ready. Questions? You generally won't have a problem. And don't be doing stupid stuff. Don't be doing stupid stuff that would highlight you as a dangerous person with a firearm. If you're brandishing or waving it in front of people and they get a call and they come out, oh, by the way, this guy's a concealed carry permit holder. What? You're an idiot. Okay, and you make us all look bad. Just like some of these jackasses on YouTube that you've seen and heard their comments and read their vulgarity and their threats and their death threats, they make us all look bad as a gun owners. Do you think the average viewer on YouTube goes, oh, he's one of those? No, they lump us all together. Gun owner. Yeah, I told you those guys are worthy of disarmament. If you knew how well funded, how organized the anti-self-defense types were, you would understand how it's important that we all represent each other well, professionally. Okay, responsibly. Same thing goes when you're a concealed carry permit holder. You represent all concealed carry permit holders. If you do something wrong, you make the news. Haven't you heard that? What have you heard on your news? Well, yeah, this guy did this. Oh, and by the way, he was a concealed carry permit holder. Why does the news throw that in? Because they want to get rid of it. It is part of their agenda to get rid of the program. And if they can in any way defame or humiliate the concept of civilians carrying concealed, they will do it. And they're going to roll that into their news piece. Don't give them ammunition. Okay? Again, professional, low-key, carry deep, have a system that works for you. Use that system all the time. Generally, you're not going to have a problem. Okay, on to the next point. I mentioned helping law enforcement, and I've covered this in my Close to Engage video. Back to the mass shooting incident. You're in a shopping mall, some guy just starts cutting loose on people. Actually, let's say you don't even see it. You hear gunshots, pop, 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 and that's what it's going to sound like, pops. What do? Your life is not being immediately threatened. Do you flee or do you close to engage? This is kind of like the no carry zone question, isn't it? How do I approach this? What do I do? What would I do? Okay, ask me. What would you do, Nutnfancy? Well, first I would do everything in my power to see if I'm understanding the situation correctly. You need information. And it may be very confusing to get that information. What is happening? What are the sounds? Who's where? What's doing? To immediately break out your gun and go John Wayne the incident is idiotic. I said that in my other videos. You don't want to do that. Especially if law enforcement's responding. What do they see? They see this dude holding a Glock 19 right there. Oh, bad guy. Put your hands down. They don't know you're a good guy. That's the problem. Identification becomes a huge problem. If law enforcement is responding in a timely manner, get out of their way. Let them do their job. They don't need your assistance. Sometimes that's not going to happen. And again, every situation is different. Every venue is different. And you're going to have to apply good and sound judgment. But if my wife is in that shopping mall, I'm not. There's no cops responding quickly. Again, I'm applying the golden rule concept here. I would want you to do something to intervene to save my wife's life. Okay, you have a gun. Okay, what's the flip side of that? The flip side is you don't do anything. You go bail to the parking lot. 17 people get killed. They finally corner the guy and shoot him. And when you were there, 3 people would have died. Hard judgment call. Yes, it's a hard judgment call. Life is full of them. Okay, but how would the public look at you if they knew that you had a gun in that situation? You could have intervened and you didn't. Again, they're sheeple, I know. They're sheep, and sheep hate the sheepdog. We've talked about that, haven't we? But at the same time, very important, they have a good sense of right and wrong. And they go, you know what? You should have intervened. You had an option to intervene and people died because you did not. I'm just saying that's a plausible outcome to that situation. But it's complicated by the fact that, when's law enforcement responding? Okay, can they respond fast enough to save lives? Can I make the shot and not be, mistaken for the bad guy. What would I do? I would close. I would try to find visually what the heck is going on. Every situation is different. If I see a bad guy there shooting people, I engage. Flat out, I engage. Close to engage. We talked about that in the other videos. Just like the female security officer did there at Fort Hood. Police officer, I'm sorry. That she closed. She didn't hesitate. Why? Because people's lives are on the line right now. Close to engage. Stop the threat. Lay down your gun. Hands in the air, stay there. Make sure that threat's neutralized, by the way, because if it's not, you may be taking some rounds again. Neutralize the threat, and then just wait for law enforcement, okay? Don't blabber, don't say nothing. Just sit there, wait for a lawyer, and you tell them, because cops don't know. Don't make any statements. They can injure you in a court of law. And you may be looked at as a really bad guy right there, even though you just saved people's lives. That may be how it plays out. Don't say anything. I thought I was going to die. That's the only thing you need to say. I thought I was going to die. And you did. Guy had a gun, no doubt. When he saw you coming, he's probably going to try to engage you as well. It's a complex subject. And I don't mean to simplify it in any way. I don't mean to give definitive answers on it either. When to engage on that. Now, there's a lot of identification pitfalls that go along with that. But I do definitely believe if cops can get there in time, let them do their job. Stay out of their way. Don't be a scanner buddy looking for opportunities to be a hero. Hopefully I've made that clear in my other videos. Because again, you'll be legally held responsible. As a civilian, you don't have the training that law enforcement does. You don't have the department backing you up. You're all on your own. Okay, you're Joe Blow. You intervene, you kill people. Serious stuff, dudes. But in the protection of others, when other people are dying, it's time critical. And I want to broad stroke this. If good judgment was applied, the reasonable man concept is verified when they look at it and go, well, yeah, that was reasonable. That was reasonable. Yeah, he intervened to save lives. He tried to de-escalate. He identified himself. He gave the shooter an option to throw down his weapon. I don't even know if that's wise, because the guy's shooting. I mean, you may just be asking for rounds to be sailed to your head. Hey, put your gun to... That's, again, there's a myriad of variables, but I think a lot of people would say he did the right thing. Okay, thank heavens he was there that day. Just like that security police officer at Fairchild. He was hailed as a hero, and rightfully so, because he saved lives. That guy didn't have a chance to reload his Mac 90 and continue on his killing spree. Again, a gun stopped the gun. Just like we talked about. Next subject. Can you make the shot? Now I'm going to go back to my question. Do you need to carry a gun? Have you thought what it means to carry your gun on your person? It means you're willing to shoot another human being under certain circumstances, like we've talked about. Okay? And can't remember if I mentioned this. If I didn't, I'll say it now. If you can't make the shot, doesn't make you a bad person. If you can make the shot, that doesn't make you a bad person either. But let's talk about the first situation. That you spend some time pondering this issue about killing another human being. And you kind of side with the fact, I don't know if I could do that. I don't care what the situation is. I just don't know if I can do that. Don't carry. That's what I say. Don't carry. And I respect you for that decision. If I meet someone and they say, yeah, I ran through the options in my head and thought about it, and considered all that stuff, and honestly, I can't make the shot. I salute you. I respect you. I don't think you're bad. You're a bad person. And there might be situations where you go, individuals go, well, I can make the shot, and then when it comes right down to it, they can't. How are you going to know that? I don't know of a magic formula for that. I don't know. I don't know if I have the answer to that. And you may find out in that situation that I can't make the shot. It's a serious thing. It's a serious thing. Life is sacred. Okay? Even bad people deserve second chances. The problem is they may be engaged in activities where we don't have the chance to give them those second chances. They may be using devices which does not give us the opportunity, afford us the opportunity to talk to them, to de-escalate the situation, and to use non-lethal options, because they started up here at lethal. And that takes away a lot of options from the first responder. What do you do when a guy's shooting? What do you do when he faces you personally with a deadly weapon? A knife, a gun, a baseball bat, within the range of engagement, Proximity, and that's another thing. Is that person close enough to use that device effectively to me? It's a big thing the court will ask. If you shoot someone who's 50 yards away, they're like, dude, you could have ran away. I'm talking on an individual upon individual confrontation. So it's a hard call. Do I need to carry a gun? There's a lot of attendant psychological things that go with it too. You take another human life, you live with that the rest of your life. Talk to people who've done it, police officers. Most of them will say, yeah, not a day goes by I don't think about it. But again, there's some other ones, good friends of mine, that have shot plenty of bad guys. I've talked with them. Hey, dude, you sleep good at night? They're like, totally. They feel good because they know they're justified. Okay, they know their unlock codes were righteous. Their decision to make the shot, righteous. It was a good decision. They went through it. They're responsible. They did everything in their power to de-escalate the situation. It worked. Other officers were taking rounds. They made the shot. It sucks, but they had to do it. It's not something they look forward to. It's not something a concealed carry permit holder looks forward to. Again, harking back what I said in the mid of the vid, I'm looking for an opportunity to use my gun. Heck no. If I carry all my days and I never break my gun out, I'm happy. That's awesome. There's nothing like a safety net that was never used. Okay? I think most reasonable, wise people feel the same way. Huge percentage of CCW people feel the same way. Okay? Legal ramifications. You make the shot. Will you be charged? Again, we talked about that earlier in the vid. There's a lot of variables. The reasonable man concept. Did you have a chance to flee? Were there other options? And then civil ramifications. Well, you killed my guy. Yeah, but he was pointing a double barrel shotgun in my face, and I had to save my life. Well, we're still going to, do this, and there's a lot of stuff that may come of that. I don't know. The NRA, again, you should be a member of the NRA automatically as a concealed carry permit holder. Does a lot of good work in these areas. Of one, and most importantly, protecting your right as a concealed carry permit holder. Again, the media is dead set against it. A lot of politicians are dead set against it, as are some of the public. They think it's dangerous. They think it's going to lead to gunfights in the streets. Never has. Never has. And that was a prediction when concealed carry was passed in Florida. Never materialized. It's total fantasy, just like a lot of their, tactics. But the NRA is your defender to keep your gun. In some cases, it's your defender when you make the shot. Support it. Give money to the NRA/ILA as well. It comes with the territory. Concealed carry permit holder, NRA membership. Maybe Gun Owners of America ownership as well. You have to protect those rights. They will be pursued. They will seek to take them away. Let's keep it legal. Let's keep it on the up and up where it should be. Does the government give you the right to be armed? No, not in my opinion. It's a God-given right. Okay, but at the same time, in rule of law, things work so much better when you're on the up and up. Keeping the law, doing everything you're supposed to do as a concealed carry permit holder. Responsible, representing the gun community responsibly, professionally, and going through your unlock codes very carefully, de-escalating whenever possible, and willing to make the shot if and when you have to. And like I talked about in my close to engage video, you may have to make that hard decision. Do I run towards the fight? Do I run away from it? And again, I can't answer that for you. There's too many variables. But again, if my wife's around there, I hope you do the right thing and protect her. If we're talking about a mass shooting incident. Finally, so you answer the question, do I need to carry a gun? Used to go Yes, I thought it out. I thought it out. I'm willing to take upon the responsibility of carrying that gun and everything it entails, which we've talked about in this video. Along with that comes a mandate, at least that's what I say, Nutnfancy, of proficiency. You have to be good with that firearm. You have to be able to employ it under stress when your heart rate's up and things go to crap real quick. A lot of my videos show this. My running guns. Why do I always shoot running? Getting yelled at, stressful, not always, but a lot. Just like you see in my Armed Serenity series. It's because it trains you.
Push the pistol!
Get used to it. Your motor skills.
Shoot him in the head!
You're losing half of your proficiency when your heart
Game on!
When you're under stress. You know, you shoot a group like that, you know, when you don't have any stress on you, maybe like that, 7 yards, you'll be shooting like that. If you're lucky, I've seen it. You know, my qualifications, I've seen it. Really good shooters. Stressful, stressed in military competitions. They're sailing around. It's all over the place. That's how it happens in a defensive encounter. How do you train for that? Run and gun, baby, just like I show. You don't have to make it long, and 0 to 100 yards. Run and gun to 7. 50-yard sprint, then bring out your gun. Practice at 7 yards. Hopefully you have a place to shoot like that. I know a lot of you guys just have ranges, and it's kind of hard to practice out with a range. If you can't run and gun, at least shoot. Okay, practice those shots. Chances are the confrontation as a concealed
3 and 3 yellow.
3. More likely 3 yards.
Okay, safe.
Okay, it's going to be close. It's going to be fast, and it might get bloody. And that's a final thing you need to consider that I talk about a lot in my duty stuff and the training I've received. You've got to be mentally prepared of what you might be looking at. There might be some blood entailed. It's not a video game. And video games, in a lot of ways, do disservice to that serious lethal force, lethal force option, making it seem, packaged, easy to do. It's not. It's horrible. It's horrible. That's why you should seek every other opportunity to de-escalate. But assuming you've done that, you make the shot, be prepared. Might get really bloody, ugly. If you employ a knife, again, to save lives, to save your own life, same ramifications apply. And it might get bloodier. It's horrible, I know. But the alternative might be worse. More people could die, including you. And that individual may be just flat out evil. Okay, so is it serious? Yeah. But thank heavens we have sheepdogs out there that are willing to take the shot. If you say no, then, why are we a free country? Because you had soldiers willing to take the shot. That are out there right now, taking the shots, getting shot. Okay, to say, oh, well, you will never take a human life, that's just fantasy. There's some evil out there that will threaten your life, that will threaten the lives of others, that maybe you, as a responsible concealed carry permit holder, exercising judgment, could make a difference. Lots of variables. I don't attempt to have all the answers. Definitely none illegal. Life advice, baby. Life advice. The concealed carry protocol. That's what I'm going to call this. Just a few considerations. We can make the video 2 hours long. Still wouldn't cover everything. There's some very respected voices out there already. Masad Ayub. Awesome voice. That guy is squared away. Been in the courts many times. Read his columns. Read what he has to say. Excellent, excellent advice. Take the decision seriously, taking into account everything I've talked about. And also don't forget, when you decide to do that, you are now a political activist. Okay? To preserve your right to continue doing what you're doing legally. That's an important thing. Moreover, you are a representative of the entire gun and concealed carry community. Your actions will represent all of us, both good and bad, both online and offline. Okay? Be professional, be responsible, be good. Okay? And carry your gun all the time. at least with high percentage. And if you say you can't do it, don't do it. There's no shame in it, and you'll save yourself a lot of money and headache in the process. To all my concealed carry brethren and sisters out there, I thank you for undertaking this thankless job that is a service to the safety of society. This is Nutnfancy with a concealed carry protocol. Thank you so much. See ya.